Brandon with goHUNT. We're getting to the end of application season. One of the last states out there to apply for is the state of California. Seems like a lot of these coastal states, they're a little bit later in the draw. A lot of us will, before this draw deadline is due, a lot of us will know what we have in other states. California is one that isn't on a lot of our radars. A lot of us have wanted to go out and chase blacktail or chase some of the mule deer opportunity out there, and we've just never had it really fit in our schedule. But it is a good state. It's got a lot of diversity, got a lot of different things. It's unique to, the species of Thule elk. Not many places in the world you can hunt those and harvest those. California has those. 3 different types of elk in the state of California. They do have true Rockies. They've got Roosevelts. They've got the Thule. They've got blacktail mule deer, desert mule deer, like a true desert type mule deer hunt out there. So there's a big diversity in California. It's in the hunting world, it's often, I wouldn't say frowned upon. It's just not on a lot of people's radar. California has a lot of hunters out there that enjoy the resource out there. So it's one that kind of flies under the radar a little bit. One thing that we're excited about going into the spring is we have a new membership out. It's Explorer. It's a mapping platform. You get access to our mapping app on your phone. You download the app, you can take it in the field, offline maps. It gives you access to the desktop version of maps as well. That's where the terrain analysis tool, a lot of the features for e-scouting and benefit for scouting. As we get into spring, start drawing some tags, we'll jump into that mapping platform and start e-scouting and start doing our homework that way. So the Explorer membership, it's a little bit less than our Insider membership. Doesn't give you quite all the access to the research tools and draw odds and various functions of Insider, but it is a little bit lower price point, gives you access to all the mapping and benefits there. We're pretty excited about that. So hop in, give that a try. Help us make that app as good as we can make it. It is built for hunters. We are a hunting company. A lot of us hunters here in the office had a lot of input and influence in what went into that map. So it is a true hunting app. It's maps for hunters built by us here in the office. A lot of the things that we wanted in a mapping app, we were able to put in there. So we're excited about that. To jump into some of these questions in California, the main one that we get, how the draw works, how the points are allocated. Is it a point state? Is it a random state? California is a point state. It is a preference point state. It's got a draw system that I like. I'm a fan of the hybrid type draws. So in the state of California, percentage of the tags go to the max point holders, people with the most points, and then percentage goes randomly. They do allocate things a little bit differently. So for elk, antelope, and sheep, they allocate 25% of the permits randomly, and they do this pass of the draw first. And so they will allocate 25% of the permits, true random, and then the remaining 75% they allocate to the points only, or to the guys with the most points. For premium deer, and they do have some different classifications of deer permits, and it's based on demand from the previous year. So the permits that you're going to apply for deer are the premium ones, and those do change periodically year to year. We explain those changes in our application strategies for California. We dive into a whole lot more detail in those app strategy articles. So if you've got more questions or you want to dive in and geek out in California, look out for the California app strategy article. We go into those details, call out those changes. But their premium deer, they allocate 90% of the permits to the guys with the most points. And then the remaining 10% they allocate randomly. So it's a little bit different than the deer, elk, sheep side. For apprentice, or that's what they call their youth hunts, those have a true 50-50 split. So half of those tags go to the youth with the most points. The other half of those tags go randomly, which I like that option. I think that's good, especially when you're talking youth hunters. A lot of those are going to be first-time applicants. A lot of the youth won't have a point build up, and so I do think it's good to give a large portion of those permits to the youth to recruit those new hunters. So I do like what California has done there. They do have some nuances in how they allocate permits. So from a non-resident perspective, we're limited to up to 10% of the total sheep tags statewide. It's typically up to 1 tag out there, just because of the limited number of permits. And then with elk and antelope, the wording that they use is not more than 1 tag per species statewide. And so there's only ever going to be 1 non-resident that draws an elk tag, and it can be, you know, any of the elk tags out there. It can even be an antlerless elk tag, or 1 antelope tag statewide. Again, one little nuance on those, that is an up to, you know, it's not more than, so they're never guaranteeing that a non-resident will draw one of those permits. So, and looking at the data, there's just not a ton of non-residents applying in those pools, and so some years they don't draw those. With their deer, they do something unique in the fact that there is no quota between resident and non-resident. So non-residents in their deer draw are the same as resident. So you can build points, you're going into the same bucket. It's a great opportunity for the non-resident to go down there, especially those people that are wanting to hunt blacktails. You know, it's, for a lot of people, it's a bucket list species that they at least want to go hunt and harvest one. California is a great state because of how they allocate that non-resident permit. So a couple nuances in knowing into that if you're going into that draw on the non-resident side. If you're a resident side, you know, good luck in the draw. There's not a ton of sheep tags, elk tags, antelope tags. There is some great antelope in the state, just not a lot of them. So one thing that they do with party apps is another question that we get. Group applications, applying with buddies, they will allow up to 6 people for deer going into the draw. They do average the group app or the group points. So if you've got 5 or 6 people, they will average those points, and they do not round. They're similar to a state like Wyoming where you go in with decimal points. So a guy with a 0.3 or 4 decimal point average will get that, you know, before a person with a 0.1 or 2 average. So they do give the benefit to the point average. So something unique to that. They will only allow residents because of that quota or limitation with only 1 tag for elk and antelope. Non-residents, you can't apply for a group for elk and antelope because you wouldn't be eligible. But residents, they have a maximum group size of 2 for elk and antelope. And for sheep, they don't allow group applications. A lot of it is just the limited number of tags out there for those. You can't apply as a group in there. Overall, California is a great state to apply in. It's one that we're like I say, we're always curious about here in the office. There's opportunity there. There is some over-the-counter opportunity in California for deer. We just never really executed on getting a tag and going out there and hunting, but a great state out there. If you do have questions about California, drop them in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as best we can, answer any of those questions. And thanks for watching.